Hey everyone, hi, it's Carol Baumgartner from Eagan, Minnesota, and I am here to show you the Love You Always suite. And this is a fairly big suite, so I'm going to get started right away. The Love You Always suite you will find on pages 10 through 13. So it's a pretty big set and it's got a lot of goodness in it, lots of loves and hearts, which of course is right up my alley. I love hearts and love. So suite has two stamp sets in it as well as coordinating dies. So I'm going to show you those each individually because there's a lot in there, a lot of options of great things that you can do. So always in my heart stamp set, and then these are the coordinating dies. Start out with the dies and the stamp set. In the stamp set, you actually get some beautiful flowers and you get these overlay stamps, which allow you to just color these stamps in by stamping them in the ink pad of your choice. That happens with all of these flowers and with this leaf, with these leaves. That's a great way to stamp quickly and color quickly is using your ink pads. It has two sayings, happy anniversary, be my Valentine, and they fit really nicely into this banner die. Comes in the die set, the coordinating die set. They fit perfectly in there. They have a little bit of curve to them, so it kind of matches the curve of the banner. It also has three other sayings, and two of them, this here's to another year of happily ever after, you're always in my heart. Those fit nicely right inside this heart die cut. You will cut the floral die and then it'll cut out this heart as well. That is another nice feature of the set. It has these beautiful hearts, which you can use anywhere, and it has an outline as well as a solid. So you can easily color those in. I already mentioned this floral heart die, but I did want to mention if you would like to have a different color heart to put inside, I always cut a 2.5 by 2.5 square so that I am saving paper because the floral heart die itself takes about 3.5 inches or so to cut out, and you can save yourself some paper if you only want the heart. You want a different color heart by using a 2.5 square piece of paper. Tip for you there on cutting out the heart. What I love about the dies is that they have two of each of these dies, two of each kind of flower and two of the leaves. So it cuts your die cutting in half because you can cut out all of these dies all at one time with one handle roll of your stamp and cut and emboss machine. So isn't that nice? Dies also have this nice little border that you can put anywhere on your card. It'll cut out these beautiful hearts, which you can also put wherever you want on your card. If you want them to be without this outline part, you can use this as a template and then just put the hearts in, glue them in, and then you have a nice straight array of hearts, just like this example shows. So you can use it two ways. And then this banner punch, I don't think you can see it clearly on the camera, but it's stitched all the way around, which is gorgeous. And then it also has the score lines automatically embossed on there for you when you do the die cut. So that's great. You know exactly where to fold the banner each and every time you fold on those score lines. Now, if you want the banner to lay flat, then I would suggest using a piece of tear and tape on the front side here as well as on the back side. If you only use it on the front side, then your back side will stick up a little bit and it'd be dimensional. And if that's what you want, that's great. If you want it to lay flat though, I suggest putting tear and tape or some strong seal tape on the, like Stampin' Seal Plus, on both sides of the banner, and that will lay really nice and straight. Another tip I want to give you is although these two sayings fit really nicely into this little banner, you can also use your other polymer stamps to put a saying on the front of this banner. I use, for example, this is the congratulations. It is a straight polymer stamp that I curved right onto the block. I curved it by lining it up on where I want it on my banner. You can see it'll fit nicely onto my banner. That's the nice feature about polymer is that you can shape them on your block to fit your stamp. So if you don't have any more curvy stamps that you want to put on this banner, but you have polymer stamps, which I'm sure you do somewhere, you can make them curve by just putting them curvy on your block. And so that's how I would stamp congratulations on the front of this card. Another tip for you. I also love this beautiful Edgelit die. And we call it edgelit because it cuts only on one side. So this side is the cuttable side, and this side does not cut. It just does the stitching, and then so you can put it on a piece of paper and it could be as deep as you want. Now it is 6.5 inches long, so it will fit any standard A2 size card plus. So use this as borders, and you can even, cut it wherever you want, and it could just be a heart border all by itself. So it's up to you. Now, the other feature of this die set is that it has dies that will cut 3 flowers at a time. Now, these outline stamps will fit right onto these hearts. They match perfectly to go around, and there's an exception here I'll explain shortly. And then it also contains another die that will cut 4 leaves out at a time. So that makes your die cutting pretty easy for this set as well. So as you can see, this little outline flower, you can see here that the petal high part is on the right hand side. The outline flower that gets cut out has it on the left hand side, so they do not fit perfectly. So the way to make them fit perfectly is that you cut out the top of the die and then fit the flower on top, and you will not be able to tell that you cut off the actual floral die to make that fit. I did call Stampin' Up! About this. I was thinking, because I couldn't get mine to work. The way I could get it to work was to flip my die over. Then it fit perfectly, but I didn't like that the surface wasn't smooth. So they said in their example that they have in their catalogs, they actually cut the top off. And so cut it enough so that you do not see it anymore, and your overlay flower will cover it right up. So that's the tip that I have on using that particular die if you're going to use the overlay flowers. Okay, so that is stamp set number 1 from the set. The second one is the Forever and Always set, which is gorgeous. And it has some coordinating dies. Let's walk through those real quick. Okay, so the flowers that you see on the stamp set can be cut out with the dies, as well as the leaves, both size leaves. The dies will cut them out. And the little bud, this little rosebud or flower bud, isn't it sweet? That will get cut out with the dies as well. It has a die cut for that. The dies also have this beautiful little set of petite flowers, which I love, and it will cut out 4 of them at a time. That's a nice time saver as well. The big feature of this set is the love and the always. I mean, don't you just love that font? I think it's so beautiful. I love cursive. I'm showing in these 3 ways how you can use the stamp sets that has always and love on them. That's what was done here, is that there is an outline die, and you can stamp inside that outline with the always stamp and the love with your stamps that come in the forever and always. You can also just die cut the words. Here, in this last example, is using the actual words that are die cut and the background you can use to cut that out. And that's a beautiful way to use it as well. So very versatile in the way you can use the stamp set with the dies. And then the dies come with 3 different like banners, and they coordinate in terms of size. There's 3 different sizes, and these are the stamps that actually coordinate with each of those dies. So what that allows you to do is to configure your saying however you'd like. You can put love you so very much using this banner. You can put always together, forever and always, love you, with my whole heart. So it gives you a lot of options in your sayings, and then the banner sizes for each of those, and you can lay them on your card however you like. So that makes it very versatile. Those are the dies and sets that go with the Forever Always set. So let's move on next to the beautiful papers. Okay, so it comes with some beautiful foil papers. This is Sahara Sand, Rococo Rose, and Blushing Bride, and with the beautiful foil patterns on them. I've used those in some of my samples, and I'll show you how they're used. Also, it comes with 4 sheets of 3 of the designs. It'll take you a long way. You get 12 sheets. That's pretty nice. And then the foil solid sheets also coordinate with each of those designs, and they have 3 colors. Here's the 3 colors. You have the Sahara Sand, the Blushing Bride, and then the Rococo Rose. And those coordinate beautifully with that pattern paper that we saw earlier kind of go like that. So those coordinate beautifully, and I'm going to show you how you can use those together in your project. The other nice sample of paper that they have is one of my favorites. It's called True Love Designer Series paper, and it's all black and white. And I love black and white because it's so classic and because you can color it and change it to match your project in whatever way you want. And I'll show you some examples with that, but look at these beautiful florals. Gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. And what's nice is you can see how you can color some of these in. And if you wanted to, you could fussy cut it out and put it on your card, which I'll show you shortly how easy that is. And then this is the flip side of that black and white paper. Aren't they beautiful? I love polka dots. I love stripes, just beautiful patterns, and they're easily intermixed with the florals on the front. So definitely one of my favorites. And I'd love for these to carry in the annual catalog because I'd love to use them all year round. So I'm going to be stocking up on that just because of I love black and white. There is more to the set besides just stamp sets and dies. We also have some beautiful ribbon. We have some beautiful ribbon, and you can see that it's gold and sparkly, and then it's satin on the other side. So you get 10 yards of this, and it coordinates beautifully with the papers and the stamp set. Another item that's also in the suite are these black dots, and I will show you projects using these. They're very versatile, can be used on any project. And then one of my favorites are these little heart charms. They're very lightweight and they're very thin. I put them on the cards using just standard adhesive, and that worked really well. I didn't need a glue dot, which is a little holds a little more firmly, and plus a glue dot would be kind of hard to hide on one of these unless you tucked it in. So I use regular adhesive, and that worked really well. Another thing that you can do with these hearts is you can color them in with your blends, and the color will stay. So here are 3 examples of coloring it in. This was using the Marvelous Magenta Dark Blend. This was using the bronze pen, and you can see it looks kind of coppery. And then this last one was using Mango Melody, which kind of gives it a gold feel. What is so nice about these is use your blends, change the colors to whatever you want to match your projects. That's another one of my favorites are these hearts. And then last but not least is this beautiful treat box. I call it a matchbox because that's what it opens is like a matchbox. It's you get a top or a sleeve, I guess you could say, and then the box bottom. And then they're already pre-scored and you just need to fold it. You can also use this for a gift card holder, or you can put treats in it. It's like 4 by 2.5 inches. So that's a pretty good sized treat box, and you can sew lots of chocolates will fit in that. And when you see the picture of this in the demo Galore's photos, I will also put the measurements of the sleeve that I used to cover this box and where I scored it so that it'll fit your project perfectly. What I love about this box too is that they can open it and the whole box stays intact, your decorations and everything, and it could be reusable. Love the metallic paper for the love, how much that shines, and then we use the little hearts from the Love You Always set to finish off this box decoration. And the ribbon, right? I mean, that ribbon is so gorgeous. All right, so that is the suite in its entirety, and I'm going to move on to show you some samples to be made with this. And I'm going to start out with the Love You Always, the Floral Heart. This one was made with the gray paper, and then I wanted a white heart. So I used a 2.5 by 2.5 piece of paper to cut out a white heart, and then I stamped it with a Stamparatus. Now, the reason I like to use a Stamparatus, especially where I need a lot of solid color, is because I can stamp multiple times. And so if I didn't ink the stamp just perfectly, I can stamp it again to kind of even out the color. So that's how I did this card. And then I've also used the painted texture embossing folder. That's new in the mini catalog as well. And some champagne rhinestones. So that was fairly easy. This one is Chromatic Card. It uses a Sahara Sand foil, the new Blackberry Bliss ribbon, which I love, love, love. And then here, the border was used there and on the top. Very easy to do and adds just a nice element to your card. Uses the Floral Heart. I had die cut it in a pear pizzazz, and then I added those flowers with that die that cuts 3 flowers at a time. And you can probably tell I cut off the top of that pear pizzazz. So this particular flower that we talked about earlier would fit perfectly on top. So that's how this card was created. Use the beautiful specialty paper, a solid foil. Then this one is an example of using the foil with the pattern paper. This is in the Rococo Rose color. Another example of using that technique of laying the flowers over the floral heart. Cut this out in white. Cut the flowers out in Pink and Blushing Bride, and then the Highland Heather heart in the middle. And also use the border on the inside just to have it match the card and give it a little something. Now, here's another technique for using the floral heart. You can stamp and then color in with the overlay stamp your flowers. So I did that for all of these flowers, and I was able to cut them all out at the same time because I had 2 of each of the flowers, and that is exactly what the floral heart has on its outside edge. And then stamp the inside, and of course you can see I'm loving this little border heart. And I don't know if I showed you, I don't think I showed you yet, but with that border heart, I have been collecting all the little pieces that come from that so that I can have some confetti. And so I've been collecting them as I cut out, and I hope to have a nice little collection for my next shaker card. This next card, it's one of my favorites, and the idea has come from Kylie Bertucci from Australia. Thank you, Kylie, for this idea. Because what she did here was she cut out the black die, and then she cut out another floral heart using the Blushing Bride, and she saved the pieces of the die cut and then inlaid them inside the die. Now, I just love that technique. That does take a little bit more time, but it is beautiful when it's done. So that is the inlaid technique if you wanted to give that a try. She also used the beautiful ribbon on her card, and then I added a few more inlaid flowers on the inside. Another example of the floral heart is the fact that it does fit on your card horizontally as well as vertically. So here's a horizontal example, and I'm using it with the True Love Designer Series paper, the black and white, and this heart was also cut from the paper and was colored in with blends to give it color to match my card. So that's what's nice. I could have colored these flowers any color I wanted with my blends. So those are some different things that you can do with the floral heart, and that is one of my favorite dies from this set. What you can do. This one is very simple card in terms of it's just using the paper by itself for the most part, using it as a background layer, coloring in the flowers from the Designer Series paper, fussy cutting it out, and then you just have a stamping here, and of course you would do stamping in the inside. And what a simple technique, just using the paper alone, just coloring it in and layering it as a background. And of course, using those cute little matte dots. Now, this idea I got from Brian King. What I love about this card and what I wanted to show you is how well they mix and match. You can use the florals with the like more solid patterns, and it just layers beautifully. So this is using the Forever and Always together. Did use the stamp on here and then die cut it. So beautiful layout. I did add a little bit on the inside to match using the flowers and the Designer Series paper. So another great example. This card I got in a swap. Isn't it gorgeous? I got it from Becky Edson, and she did use the little pink flowers that come in the set. She used the black and white paper and mixed 2 of the floral papers together. And what a beautiful combination. Love this pink and black together. So, and then of course the foil paper for the Always is gorgeous. This was a card that I designed cutting out a heart, only used 2.5 by 2.5 of the black and white paper, colored it in, layered it on the polka dot that comes in that paper pack, and did the love, and then of course the heart charm. I wanted to show you also what's nice about the black and white paper is that you can use both sides. So this design element I got from Terry Phelps. Isn't it pretty? She took a square and layered it so that you can actually see both sides of the paper. And she colored the inside in. So this is the black and white paper colored on one side and then folded to create this beautiful inside piece. So that's all the wonderful things you can do with black and white paper, and it's not limited to this set. You can use it almost on all your card projects. It's almost like a staple. Like I think like I should have that all the time. So I know I'm going to be stopping onto something fairly easy to do. With the set, this is using the Forever and Always flower, the 2 flowers from that set. And basically what was done for this was to stamp very closely together the big flower and the small flower in the ink color of your choice, and then use the blend to color the background. So obviously this was done on white cardstock. This was stamped with the Gorgeous Grape, and then inside here was the light Mango Melody blend that was used to make the backgrounds. You can make your own background with any color flower that you want, and there are so many combinations. These are just a few that I came up with. All right, now I want to show you some of the foils. The foils are so beautiful. So just want to show you another technique that I did with on this card. I laid 1/4 inch strips of paper onto the heart. You can see I used the True Love Designer Series paper as well as the foil pattern paper to make this beautiful heart. And once I laid the strips on, I cut around it, just trimmed off the excess with my scissors. And here we're using the beautiful foil on the Always Saying. Another example, I'm going to use this as a wedding card. Lots of foil on this one. This one's using the Floral Heart, the foil paper on Blushing Bride, and then I cut a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch to layer it on top of Very Vanilla, and then I cut one of the stitched rectangles out of the foil to create that effect, and it's going to be a wedding card, and use the beautiful heart also on the outside of the banner and the ribbon, right? It all just goes so together so beautifully. Now this card I absolutely love. I wanted to show you how that foil is just so shiny and striking using an embossing folder. This one was using the Country Floral embossing folder, and it just looks just so shiny. Love that. And then I used 3 different color of green to do these leaves. But as you know, I didn't have to die cut each and every one because that die cut cuts 4 leaves out at a time. Use the You Had Me at Hello stamp and a couple of flowers, and I love that combination as well. So these are some examples of what you can do with that beautiful foil. Lastly, I just wanted to show you my last set of examples for using the set and suite of product. We do have the free celebration paper called Field and Flowers that you can get during celebration period, and this is using some of that paper on that. And then this one, I love purple and red together for Valentine's. So this one uses both stamp sets and dies on one card, and it's got the Dazzling Diamonds embossing folder. And then the inside was using that border piece and stamped in Gorgeous Grape. And then this one is using our new ombre paper that is also a free celebration set if you place a $50 order. And so love the monochromatic look, love ombre as well. I hope this gives you some great ideas for this suite of products. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great Demos Galore day, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.